Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Sarcasm Speaks. It's Jared and Bob. I feel like we haven't, I was gonna say, I feel like we haven't spoken in weeks.
It's been almost two,
Yeah, yeah, it's been a
11
while.
11 days, something like that.
Yeah, that's what happens when we had the trifecta, triple threat, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, big world traveler you are now.
Yeah, I know. I got another trip back to San Diego at the end of the month, so
Ah, a whale's vagina.
yes. I gotta go to Philly on Monday, so that's either gonna be the saddest day ever, or it's going to be absolute fucking chaos and there's going to be none of the city left. Um, but yeah, that's Monday. Like I said, the last week in February.
You literally have to go to Philly on Monday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who the fuck is going to be at work?
I don't know. That's the
Those guys
first
are going to be
day.
in trouble, dude.
That's the
Wait, is
first
it
day in the new
opening?
office. Yeah,
Oh, okay, then never mind. It's not
yeah,
construction dudes. I'll say
yeah. No,
construction
no, no,
dudes, no chance. That
no,
like
no, no,
I don't know who you need to speak to in the
no.
higher ups and just let them know. Like I know, listen, I know what you guys are thinking, and I understand you have a schedule. I'm telling you, these guys are not either going to be there or be firing on any cylinders.
Yeah, yeah. Not a chance.
Yeah, regular teller or I guess regular people.
Yeah, they're just back office people.
Yeah. They'll still
Remember,
probably be in
I
tough
don't
shape
do
and
any of the
everything.
retail stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Right. Online was down one day.
yeah.
Um, so I was listening to the Bob Does Sports podcast,
Mhm.
and it ended up being a joke, but they were joking about I don't know why, like about one of their guys leaving, and he's from the Philly area, and then again, it was a joke that he was leaving the show because I think there were comments and then like comments built on comment. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
he came on saying, I'm going to be the regional director um, for Radio Shack. My territory is Korea. It's big in Korea. And they're like, if it goes well, you can bring it back. He's from Philly, so it's like bring it back to Philly, whatever. And then like one of the guy, Fat Perez, literally said, he goes, yes, the Conshohocken territory. I go, wow, okay, so this is like I guess it's like a place people have actually heard of.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty well-known
Is it like
suburb.
is it like the Cambridge to Boston,
You basically, yeah.
like Mount
Yeah.
Pleasant to Charleston, kind of like that
Yep.
idea?
Yeah, I would say that's
Okay.
probably fair. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was funny that
Yeah, good old Conchi.
I'm like fuck,
So
but I
everyone's, "Oh,
guess
you ever been to Conchi?"
oh God, that's irritating. But San Diego, so is San Diego a new location?
Yeah. Yeah, so
So now
the reason
is that
I
gonna be your travel pattern now?
for a little bit, yeah. The reason I was in San
I went to
Francisco
fucking
this
San
week
Francisco.
was because we just opened San Francisco, right? And there's back-to-back weeks. So my boss is going out this week, maybe, depending on how much snow we get. He was like, hopefully my flight doesn't get canceled on Sunday.
Anyway, hey, anywhere from 1 to 745 inches we're
Yeah, I
getting
know, I
tonight.
know. According to the weather app, North Attleboro is only going to get like an inch. So,
So so I saw that this is I've been flipping out about this. And it's like I really don't want to bitch about the weather, but listen, I'm not bitching about the weather. I'm bitching about people. And someone's like, "Oh, we're gonna get slammed this weekend." Like, "Oh fuck." So I look it up. I look up Weymouth, Massachusetts. 1 to 3.
yeah,
I go, "What are we freaking out about?"
yeah,
Michaela's father calls her and goes, "Hey, like if it's bad, can you help your sister like dig out?" I mean, she lives by herself. It's like, and I go, 1 to 3 inches in Weymouth? Question mark. What am I missing?
yeah, yeah.
And I feel like this always happens. I feel like I don't know what it is. Again, I'm probably just stupid, but every time there's a storm coming, whatever I look up is never the same as what people are telling me. And then whatever ends up falling is 50-50. Like
Yeah, it's no, you have no
you never
idea.
know anymore.
And the whatever the forecast is doesn't matter because they could say you're only going to get 1 to 3 and we get 9, or they could say you're going to
Yeah.
get 8 to 10 and you get 2,
And that's the thing is
right?
like I think it's
Like,
Michaela and I were briefly talking about this earlier. I feel like it used to be a little more accurate. Like if they said 1 to 3, you'd maybe get 5,
Yeah,
but they would never say 1 to 3 and you'd get 8.
right,
Or
right.
they say nine's coming and you get
Two.
sometimes none.
Yeah, yeah, you get a dusting.
It's like if you were getting 9, like you might get 15. Like
Right, right.
it never went the other way.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the
Um,
margin of error today is pretty fucking bad with snow.
so so and again, I don't know what it is, but
Is
it
that
doesn't
standard
it
deviations?
also doesn't matter because you can't predict the weather, right? Like no one can.
True.
I
Well,
think
the
I
Jews
think
can. No, the Jews can control the weather. Sorry.
oh, they
So
control
therefore,
it.
if you control it, you
I
can
thought
predict it.
Republicans controlled the weather.
No, the
No,
Republicans are
Democrats? Which
n
political party controls the weather?
none of them. It's the Jews.
Oh.
The Republicans are destroying the weather because they like coal.
Yeah.
It's really all for
Um,
naught, really, because the Republicans are allegedly destroying the environment. The Democrats are trying to save it, but none of it matters because the Jews are the ones that control it anyway. So you guys are just yelling at each other for no reason.
anyway, I have seen an updated forecast. It looks like it's going to be 4 to 8, and I know that's a big range, but it's for all intents and purposes, it sounds like the snow is actually coming.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck it was where I was hearing like 10,
yeah,
and I'm seeing 1 to 3.
yeah. Well,
Now it seems like both sides have kind of met, which is
yeah,
fine. Because also it's like I'm well aware that Wednesday's too early to be fucking worrying about the weather.
true. Like I said, I looked this morning, and as of this morning, it still only says North Attleboro an inch.
You know
So
what the other thing
we're
too is?
also in a weird pocket because we're far enough
Away from
south.
Boston.
Yeah, that like, and we're close enough to the water in Rhode Island where like we're semi-protected, but obviously we're not on the water, but we're close enough where it's we don't really, I mean, yeah, we get snow, right? Like obviously we
Well,
get,
there'll be times like so there'll be times because I've noticed this. It seemed like Bridgewater always got different
yeah,
snow
yeah.
than even fucking Easton. Because when I remember I lived in Bridgewater, not the year we lived together, but when I lived there 2012 to 2014,
Mhm.
there would be times I would leave Bridgewater with like no snow. I would get into West Bridgewater, I would see snow, I'd get into Easton and be like, what the fuck happened? 2 towns.
Yeah,
And then there were other times where, you know, Easton would close schools, we'd close work, I'd be at home and it'd be nothing.
right.
I'm like, why did we close? We didn't get any snow. And they're like, this is back before I owned it. They're like, oh no, we got snow. Like it's it's kind of bad here. Okay,
All right.
whatever. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's always like people are in opposite patterns. I've also noticed that Cunty Chris always gets snow. Like he always gets more snow than us. Always. Every single time it snows that he gets like a significant amount, or he is a fucking asshole and he is not getting that much, but he is over exaggerating how much he gets.
Fair enough.
Could go either way. He has a name for a reason. Um, so yeah, I mean that's why we're recording on Saturday because I have no idea what's coming tomorrow.
Yeah,
And I don't want to say like, yeah, sure, we can record in the morning, and then all of a sudden it's
I gotta go
wait,
shovel
now I got
tomorrow.
to dig myself out so that we
Right,
can go dig her
right,
sister out.
right, right. Yeah,
Um, Especially too because I'm not really interested in waking up at like 5:30, 6 a.m. tomorrow, just so that I can get 2 houses shoveled out, and
yeah.
then
What do you mean? You don't want me to give you a wake up call?
I mean I could just set my work alarm. I mean I roll over every day at 5:20 anyway.
Yeah,
You should
yeah.
see the mental gymnastics that happen in my head.
We just,
Because there's some days now, and unfortunately, I'm not going in as early most days now.
right.
Well, I guess fortunately for me, but for unfortunate reasons. But um, so it's like, yeah, I'm sleeping in a little bit, and then it's like, she has alarms going off. I always roll one way at 5:20 and then I roll back a little bit after. It's fucking fucked. And I'm also finding out that uh my sleep schedule is really fucked because I don't sleep well. When I am sleeping well, don't move. Like Leo
Yeah.
got off the bed, threw up. She woke up, cleaned it up, took him out, brought him back in. He jumped back up on the bed. No clue.
Oh, wow.
The only reason I knew is because I saw a bag in our bedroom, and that usually indicates that he threw up and she cleaned it up.
Right. Right.
No clue.
Wow.
And I don't fall asleep, and I don't sleep like after, I don't know. I'm probably rolling at 4:30, 4.
Yeah.
It's fucked, man. It's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. My thing is I can generally fall asleep pretty well. It's the staying asleep thing, right? Like same as you, right? Like I'll wake up here, I'll wake up there, I'll roll over. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night if I'm sleeping on my side and my right arm is under the pillow, my whole fucking arm is numb. And I'm like, oh, that's, life in your mid 30s apparently, or life after 30, I should say. I guess technically I'm not quite in my mid 30s yet. I got another year there, but still. Um, it's like, what the fuck? I can't even lay on my arm without it falling asleep anymore. Like, what is this shit? So there's that. There's, Pickett moves in the bed and I wake up, or it's just like, yeah, the whole staying asleep thing is an issue. The falling asleep thing generally is not an issue for me.
I think
Uh,
about we probably get 4 hours of like perfect sleep
yeah.
from like midnight to 4.
And my body at this point, I think, well, I know we've talked about this before, but my body at this point is so conditioned to waking up at the same time. When I was in um, San Francisco earlier this week, I was up at 3:30 because
Yeah,
that's
6:30.
6:30 a.m. Like my body knows what time it is. It's like, you hear all the science about circadian rhythm and like body temperature changes along the circadian rhythm, and that's why it's important, and this and that, and yada yada. And you're like, yeah, 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 cool, whatever. I'll just sleep in. Nope, doesn't matter. My body is so used to going to bed and waking up at the same exact time every single day. Like I said before, like with the baby, like there's no such thing as weekends, right? Like there's no, like he doesn't know that, like, oh, it's Saturday, I'm gonna sleep until 9 o'clock. He's like, no, dude, I'm up. Like I'm a baby. Like I'm waking up when I wake up, which is the same time. So my body is so conditioned to that when I was on the West Coast, I wake up at 3:30. Now I was able to, like, one of the days I was able to roll over and go back to sleep until like quarter of five. Um, but one of the days I was just up. Like it was 3:30 and I was just up and I was like, cool, this is awesome.
I want to
Um,
say when we went to Monterey before Pebble. I
mhm.
do want to say I probably was like more like a 5 a.m. local, which would be 8 o'clock here. And I was like, oh shit, I'm like awake.
Yeah,
But that's also probably because I think I made it a point to get hammered and stay up to like,
yeah,
I want to say I tried to stay up till like 10:30 if I'm thinking of the right night.
yeah,
Um, Maybe. But yeah, so it's like I tried to fuck it. And then when we went to Italy, which would have really fucked up with the time, we both stress napped, depression napped, whatever you want to call it, when our shit was missing.
yep,
So we ended up sleeping for an hour and a half, 2 hours at like 1 o'clock local,
yeah.
which then kind of got us onto like Italian time.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, time change is weird, right? Because like I don't remember it being an issue when we went to Hawaii. I know when we came back, it was. I was fucked up for like a day, maybe a day and a half. Um, when we came back, it's the full moving forward in time, I think fucks me up more than moving backwards in time, right? Because you're just gaining more time. You're like, yeah, whatever, I'll just stay up more. But like when you leave somewhere and it's 7 a.m. and you get home and with the time change, it's like fucking 10 o'clock at night, but your body thinks it's 6 o'clock. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, like I said, I remember being fucked up when we got back from Hawaii and then coming home from California. I mean, I'm also not in California long enough to adjust to the time, so it doesn't really matter. And I've been taking a red eye home, so I'm fucking exhausted anyway because I sleep for like a cumulative 3 hours in 20 to 45 minute bursts on the plane. So, on a whatever, a 5.5, 6 hour plane ride home, I get 20 minutes here, 40 minutes there, 35 minutes there, like I said, a cumulative of 3 hours. So I'm just so exhausted when I get home that I just go right to bed that night and then I'm back on a normal schedule and it's fine from there. But
I
um,
think that was what saved us from Italy because we had 16 hours of travel to get home from wake up in Venice to Uber drop off in Boston. I
yeah,
think it took 16 hours. But that means we woke up at 3:45 and landed and got home at what is that? 12 hours would have been
3:45 in the afternoon, like 4 o'clock.
of their time.
Yeah,
So add 6. Oh no, so the 6 will wash out because oh no, it's 4. It would be 3:45, 7:45, but you take 6. Yeah, so we probably got home around 2 o'clock because you have to incorporate the time change.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we spent 16 hours to get home. And then it was just like, you just gotta hang on.
yeah,
And she might have made it to like 7:30, but I think again, she was so exhausted that she slept to like a normal time of the morning.
yeah,
And I probably went to bed at like 9:30. And again, maybe I got up at like 5:36, something like that,
yeah,
which is early for a weekend, but that's not early.
right, right. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, it is funny how, as much as people want to poo-poo the circadian rhythm thing, I think there's something to that. I mean, I will I throw the caveat in there though. I think it's really only something if you're consistent, right? Like if
You gotta
you're
be
if you go to bed at 9 o'clock on Monday and 11 o'clock on Tuesday and 9:30 on Wednesday and then 10:30 on Thursday, but then, Friday night you're out, you go out, you don't go to bed till 2 a.m. And then Saturday you're like, oh, I'm kind of tired, but I'm gonna go out, but I'll go to bed at like midnight, right? And then Sunday you're fucking exhausted and you got to go to work the next day, so you go to bed at 9, right? And then you do it all over again. Like you ain't gonna build a circadian rhythm that way. So
certainly not.
I think if you have one and it's consistent, um, then you certainly are able to tell, right? Like I said, when you travel, because your body's like, hey, what the fuck is this? It's 3:30. No, it's not. It's 6:30. But But yeah, to take it all the way back, yeah,
You're in San Diego, huh?
San Francisco is done. I do have two more locations that are going to be opening in the Bay Area, but that's not till later this year, and we're not really to the point where like I need to be visiting them yet. Um, so there's one in like Laurel Village, which is like the uber rich part of San Francisco, kind of down near where they filmed Full House. And then Menlo Park, which is Silicon Valley. So tech people and then uber rich people. Um,
Was that south of the city then? Menlo Park, whatever.
yeah, it's closer to
Like
San Jose.
on the way to Palo Alto.
It actually, I want to say it's a suburb of Palo Alto. I think
Yeah.
Palo Alto might be like the city, and then Menlo Park is like the Cambridge of Palo Alto,
Yeah.
to reuse another example.
Some would say
Um,
it's the Conshohocken of
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, Philly is done. So well, it will be done on Monday. So at this point, I will have exclusively California projects left. So I'll have one in San Diego, one in Newport Beach, which is going to be fun. I'm actually going to do both. When I fly down, I'm going to fly into LAX, drive to Newport Beach on the Monday, kind of do what I got to do there, and then I'm just going to keep driving to San Diego. So I'm flying into LA on the Monday, but I my hotel is in San Diego Monday night. So
Is it
um,
oh, sorry. It's if all things were flat, it'd be what, like 3.5 hours, but with traffic, it's probably gonna take you like five. Is that
um, no, it's well, maybe if I was going to go straight shot LAX to San Diego Airport, maybe. Um, but I'm going from LAX to Newport Beach, right? So I'm gonna
no
spend
fucking?
time there. That's probably like with no
Stu-
traffic, it's
I'll look up a
probably
stupid
45
map.
minutes. Like 45 to an hour, maybe with no traffic. Who knows with traffic? Could be 2 hours.
It could be forever.
And then from Newport to San Diego, which technically I think I'm staying in Del Mar because our location is Del Mar, so that's north of San Diego. It's
I see it.
so yeah. So Torrey Pines is in
Actually,
La
it's
Jolla.
seriously way on the way, though.
Yeah, yeah.
You should
So
stop by TPI on your way in Oceanside,
no,
because
nice.
you got all the time in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I will actually have time on Tuesday, because I am
No,
not taking a red eye home. I'm flying home Wednesday during the day, so I may try and see if I can find somewhere I can golf Wednesday night that has rental clubs.
I would imagine that shouldn't be overly difficult.
Can't imagine there's a dearth of golf in San Diego.
Oh, here's the fucked up thing. So from I mean, I did Los Angeles. I didn't do the airport. I don't know where the airport is. Um,
LAX, I think it's in Compton or Irvine or one of the. It's in a shitty area.
well, if it's in Irvine, that's so close.
Maybe it's not Irvine.
Irvine's like, dude, that's really close to Newport Beach.
Yeah, so it's not Irvine.
Oh, I think I know where it is.
Inglewood, that's the one. It's in Inglewood. The shitty, that's where Paul Pierce is from.
I feel like Dr. Dre has mentioned.
Yeah. SoFi Stadium is over there. That's why I remember when they built it, everyone was like, "What the fuck? You're building SoFi Stadium in the middle of Inglewood?"
Well, you got to go somewhere cheap.
Yeah.
All right,
And
I
where
see
there's
it.
space and you can manifest destiny that like no one give I it's a terrible thing to say, but no one gives a shit if you take out a bunch of area in Inglewood, but if you go to Beverly Hills, people are gonna freak the fuck out.
Doesn't worth too much.
Yeah, true.
Okay. The fucked up thing. It's only a 2 hour drive from LA to San Diego with a stop in Newport Beach.
Yeah.
There's no way it's only going to take you 2 hours.
Yeah, probably not.
Um, I think that's maybe what I thought. Or, I'm sorry, that's not to San Diego. That's to Del Mar specifically, which is north.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if all things were flat, it would be a very easy drive.
Yeah.
It's 111 miles just straight. But it won't be that because California's a fucking hellhole.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Torrey Pines isn't far from Del Mar.
I mean, I went to Torrey Pines. I didn't play the golf course, but I
Okay,
went
well
there
let's correct that error next time.
when I was in yeah, I got to do a better job. One of the next times, because I looked, right? And I was like, oh, I'm like, 3.5 weeks out. Let me look and see if there's any tea times available at Torrey. No. When I looked on, what's today, Saturday? I looked Thursday this week. Um, the next available tea time I could find was the first week in April. So I was like, all right, yeah, I got to do a better job. So like, I got to time this better. So like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
I
should be
think
able
I
to
think
find.
I almost have to make the tea time first and then book the trip around it.
Yeah, I mean there should be. The only thing I don't know is what the public-private situation is.
Yeah.
That could potentially be an issue,
I mean,
but
I wouldn't be playing until I mean, I don't even know if I'd be able to play 18, and I would in the summer, but I probably wouldn't make a tea time until like 5 or 6 o'clock because I have shit to do during the day.
No, it's stupid, dude. Where's the San Diego airport actually located?
That's like downtown San
Yeah, it
Diego.
is. Oh, dude, you're gonna go to Little Italy in San Diego?
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that this week when I was in San Francisco. We were all like, yeah, everyone, like most of the people from the project team were in the big conference room to like, as the command center to handle all the issues. Um, and I was asking some of the people that live there, and I was like, oh yeah, like where's like some of the best food around here? And they were like, oh, yeah, like this place is good. And they were like, if you really want good Chinese food, like if you go to Chinatown, like it's like you can't miss, right? And they're like, it's absolutely incredible. And I go, yeah, actually, that makes a ton of sense, right? Because we are closer to China over here. Like that's a thing. And people kind of looked at me funny. And I was like, no, no, no. All right. Sorry, guys. So, because I also had to realize I was in San Francisco and people are like very sensitive about that shit. So I was like, no, no, no. So what I mean is I travel semi frequently, right? And I go, when I go to places like Texas and Florida, and they tell me you have to go to this Italian restaurant because it's really good, I laugh in their faces and say it's shit because I'm from the Northeast and there's no such thing as a good Italian place anything south of Philly, right? It's Philly, New York, Boston, and like everything in between. Like, again, don't go to fucking Orlando, Florida, and tell me that, oh, you got to try this great Italian place. I don't give a shit. I don't like, I'm sure it's fine, right? I'm sure it probably doesn't suck, but it's not, no, I'm not going to Texas and getting Italian food. That's not a thing. I'll go to Texas and get barbecue, right? So I was like, in San Francisco, yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to get Chinese food. Like they have a huge Chinatown. Um, so like then they were like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. And I was like, yeah, obviously it does, you fucking morons. Um, but yeah, like I didn't get Chinese food because I wasn't in the mood. I'm also, like I said, yeah, well, you know this. I'm also allergic to soy, right? And I did not bring the proper materials to avoid having a fucking tummy ache.
Did you get the Italian one?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I mean. Like, so Little Italy in San Diego, n- don't get me, it's a major city, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's
I'm sure
going
it's
to be
fine.
some good
There's going to be some
Italian
good food.
restaurants. Has to
Yeah.
be.
Yep.
But why wouldn't you go for like real, actual Mexican food if you're in
Right.
San Diego?
Right. Yeah.
Play the fucking hits. What are we doing?
Yeah. I had Mexican food when I was in San Diego the first time, and it was fucking incredible.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I've never been. Um, I'd actually be open to San Diego. The rest of California, fuck that. But,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking seafood,
Yep.
Mexican, and I guess Mexican, Spanish, Hispanic, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't
Yeah.
fucking know. It's kind of where my head's at. I
Yeah.
wouldn't, I wouldn't really be looking for, um, even Chinese. I think that's still more northern.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the Chinese immigrants settled in San Francisco and
There
probably
was
LA
a
because it's huge, but
ton of fucking sushi places in San Francisco too. There's a lot of
yeah.
Japanese, which,
Yeah,
hey,
because I say the Japanese is big, even like
not
Seattle,
a
right?
not a great history that we have with the Japanese in California, but
But there's a
that
reason
is
why it was there.
there's a reason why the internment camps were there.
There's
Yes.
a reason it was there. Not great,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the reason still applies.
True. True. But yeah, I thought it was crazy. Like walking from my hotel to the office, I think I walked by 5 or 6 sushi places. And I didn't go in any of them, but like I'm sure they were all good.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of where my head would be. Like, I really wouldn't be interested in a fucking lasagna bolognese in fucking San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I also probably wouldn't be interested. I mean, I would be because it's not like the shit we get here is like all that great. But as I say, I'm also don't know if I want smoked brisket.
Yeah.
But you know what? I probably do.
Well, that's the thing. It's a major city, right? Like you can get decent brisket in
In
Boston, like Boston
correct,
proper,
correct.
right?
But
Like,
that's why, like when we were in Austin, we were in the city.
yeah,
But where
dude,
we were
even the
staying,
Mexican, like that little the
yeah,
tiny
the
fucking
taco
taco
truck.
stand. It was an RV, like it was a
Yeah,
fucking food truck,
it was a food
basically.
truck. It was a
Yeah.
legit food truck,
The
but it didn't
Mexican food
move.
out of there was absolutely fucking incredible.
I only went the once. I didn't get up and go anytime.
Yeah, I
You
went
guys went every
literally
day.
every day for
Yeah.
breakfast.
Um, but that was the thing is like where Nico said that actually makes a ton of sense because we were in the city, but we were close to downtown, but not really.
Yeah,
And with Sixth Street being what Sixth Street is, if they recommended something to us on Sixth Street, it's like, no,
yeah,
it needs to be like a fucking hole in the wall, random ass spot.
right,
If
right.
it's going to be what we're looking, again, what we are looking for.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, again, that's the other thing, because then it's like, well, if all the Chinese immigrants are in the West Coast, like you wouldn't eat Chinese food in Boston. It's like, no, I mean, dude, we're still a major city. It's like,
right, right.
just find the right spots.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Boston is actually one of those cities that's known for having pretty good Chinese food too.
Dude, it's like, it's an older city, so it's like we've been taking
Yeah,
different cultures just for a long fucking time.
right, right.
So, and again, East Coast, so like Boston, New York, Philly, like you said,
Yeah,
DC probably to an extent, but
yeah.
not so much. Um,
Well, DC,
did you
there's not real people that live there. Those are all lizard people, so they don't eat food.
correct insects? Did you see the place that Big Jim Murray went to in New Orleans?
Yeah, with the
He
fish.
posted, and he was like,
It
"Oh,
was
this
like a
made my knees
catfish or
buckle."
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm sure it was lights out. It didn't look that way, but
yeah.
again, I'm not there,
But
so
again, so
whatever.
that's the thing. Like when you travel to these places, like you said, play the hits, right? Stick to the
Yes.
hits. Like if you go to New Orleans, you got to get the gumbo, right? Like you got to get the
So
catfish, the
so th
jambalaya, the that. You go to Texas, you get the barbecue, right? You go to St. Louis, you get the barbecue, right? Like you go to
what are you going to St.
Chicago.
Louis for? Fuck.
Yeah, I know. You go to Chicago, you get the deep dish pizza and you can't get an Italian beef sandwich if you want. I mean, I wouldn't particularly be interested, but like you go, I guess there's decent Italian in Chicago.
Again, but that's
Shout out
it's
to
a
the
major
mob.
city. It's a major
Yeah.
city. Like that's the thing. Like, you
Chicago
know,
is probably the only city not directly on the in the Northeast that I would trust the Italian because they had such a big mob presence for so
yeah,
long.
they did.
Like
Well,
they had real Italians there.
in again, like so this is another thing too. Like if we say we went to Kansas City for some reason and someone goes, "Hey, there's like a pocket of like two streets of like good Italian spots." And we're gonna be like, well, yeah, Kansas City and cow
Yeah.
country, like
Yeah.
whatever. But remember, the Kansas City mob was a very influential thing where guys from the East would
Right.
go to Kansas City or Chicago because that was like the developing area of the Midwest.
Right.
So yeah, it's very possible that there is. But if you tell me like, oh yeah, Kansas City, great Italian. No. If you
No.
want to tell me there's
No.
like four or five really good spots, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll believe you. It's a real
Yeah.
place. It's a major city,
Right. Right.
major-ish, I guess. Um, but yeah, I mean, but I looked up the menu at that place. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kachon, something like that. In New Orleans, it's in the Warehouse District. So if you remember on a map, like where the Superdome is, how
Hmm.
the French Quarter is east of the Superdome,
Yep.
this is west of the Superdome. Now, I'm
Okay.
not far at all. It's in like the
Yeah.
Warehouse District. And I actually pulled up their menu, and this is where you also can be careful because, like New Orleans, it's like shrimp po' boys and muffaletta and the gumbo and the jambalaya, and it's all the same. Now, every time I've had these things, it's all good, except I don't think I've got gumbo. I don't like gumbo. Um,
You don't like okra?
It, I don't like soup.
Yeah.
I just don't want soup, especially in fucking New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like hot as shit all the time. Soup. Mmm. And no, I don't think I like okra. Um, so that was the thing though. Like you could look at that menu and you could see how it has elements of everything that you would think New Orleans has, but none of like the generic bullshit.
Yeah.
So, it looked fucking awesome.
What would you probably steak. I was gonna say, what would you get for like the area, like the forgotten area where it's like Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, but
That is
that's
beef
steak,
country,
that's
dude.
beef. You
That is
just get you
beef.
get a giant fucking piece of steak. And
I
you're
would,
like,
yeah. So I would like to think, a lot of beef, all variations of beef,
yeah.
probably in particular steaks. I wouldn't be surprised if like wild boar was like a thing.
Hmm.
I'm not banking on that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised venison,
Okay.
if venison was like a thing.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
think
if they eat rabbit.
elk is probably
Yeah, yeah,
big, maybe
probably
even
elk.
more so in like Minnesota, Michigan, like that area.
Colder areas.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, Wisconsin is cheese and beer, so, you
yeah, but
know,
I mean the Duke dairy. Like, so what the f
yeah.
like, everyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
dairy, 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 like whatever. What the fuck is on a dairy farm?
Yeah.
Cows, beef.
Right. Right.
Mm. Um,
West Virginia is meth, right? Like
yep,
you have to
yep,
try the
eat a lot of
meth and
meth.
yep. Yep.
And then what you eat for food doesn't actually matter at that point.
Yeah, you typically don't get really
Human
hungry
human
when
meat.
you're on meth.
Um, yeah, a lot of game, I would
Yeah.
imagine in that area.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean every area kind of has like their own shtick, right? Like,
I mean, everyone's got. Well, that's the thing is like everything kind of has an influence, except like truthfully, like except Florida, because Florida doesn't really have an identity.
yeah.
Because what
Well, it's
Florida should be,
Florida was the Australia of the United States, but didn't it start out as a prison colony? Didn't we ship
I
all
don't
the
know. I mean, it would make a lot of sense if it did.
yeah.
That would actually really track if it did. No, but like what should Florida food be? It should be very similar to Louisiana.
Yeah.
Do they
Or
border
just
each do they
big
border each other
fish.
or is something in the way?
No.
Is Alabama in the way?
Alabama
Alabama's in.
and Mississippi.
Oh, you got to cover two states to get over there?
Hmm.
Oh, that's right. Louisiana borders
I mean,
Texas.
no, yeah, I was gonna say maybe technically in the panhandle, but no, I think there's a little tiny bit of Alabama that comes down. So I think you have to go through Bama and
Oh,
Mississippi
so
to
like
get to
Alabama
Louisiana.
for a second, then it's and then all of Mississippi. Does that sound
Yeah,
right?
mostly, yeah.
Um, yeah, okay. So maybe a mix between like what you would get in Georgia and what you would get in Louisiana. Because I don't even know what Mississippi is. I don't think they really have an identity.
They're racist. That's their identity.
Yeah. Um, what a fucking place. What a fucking place. Yeah, so I think that's like what Florida should be, but then it's like,
I like seafood,
well,
right? Like a lot of where swordfish, marlins, right? The Florida marlins. Sure they have a lot of marlin down there.
do they?
Tuna. I bet you they have a bunch of tuna. Probably shark,
No,
right? There's a
should.
lot of
Should. Remember,
yeah.
should.
Yeah, right. I would imagine Florida is mostly seafood, but then you get the Spanish influence though from Cuba.
Which you should.
That's
You
right
should have
there.
a Spanish
Yeah.
influence, which, okay, so New Orleans has a French influence, fine, but like, yeah, you should have a Spanish because I wasn't it a Spanish. Did we buy that from? Yeah, I
Yeah,
was gonna
we
say,
either
did we
buy it or we stole it.
one or
One
the
of
other?
those. That's usually those are really the only two ways we got our land. We either bought it or we stole it.
I think we bought Florida. I want to say Florida was owned by Spain.
And in some cases, like the Louisiana purchase, that's both. We did buy it, but that was a steal.
True. Um, but yeah, Florida has no food identity just because of the way it was created
Yeah.
or settled or built or whatever.
Yeah, didn't we buy, wasn't the Louisiana purchase? Didn't that only cost us like $500?
Like, dude,
for
it
like,
it
I mean, I
was
know it was also probably like 1879 or whatever, but like even in 1879, I feel like $450 is the equivalent to like 400,000 today, right? Like it's like less than $1 million we basically bought from Louisiana all the way to fucking Montana.
so in 1803. Oh, sorry, 1800 Spain transferred Louisiana to France. Uh, the United States paid France $15 million for the land in 1803 or so.
Okay.
So $15 million, 1803 today.
It's 300 to 350 million, which is
I'm
nothing.
even seeing 418.
Even if it was 400 million, let's round it up to
It's,
400 million.
you know what? Call it half a billion. Steal.
Yeah. Um, Patrick Mahomes' contract was worth $500 million, wasn't it? Was it 10
No,
years?
no. Remember, half a
Yeah,
yeah, no,
five
half a
500
billion.
million. 500 million is
Yeah,
half a
okay,
billion.
yeah. Oof. I was gonna
I
say, I'm like,
think,
no, that decimal point can't be. I'll go, that can't be right. That's not enough for a land.
yeah, wasn't Pat Mahomes' deal 10 years of 50 million? Because it's
It's
been
close,
since
dude.
surpassed, right? Like I think Burrow got 55 million, but he might have only got 6 or 7 years. So it's like,
Otani and Juan Soto both signed for way more
yeah,
than 400, 500
yeah.
million.
The value of a single player's sports contract is more than the equivalent in today's dollars of what we spent to purchase everywhere from Louisiana to Montana.
Suck it, France.
Yeah,
Fucking
that's
assholes.
fucking hilarious. Especially when you consider the what is the US GDP? Like, isn't it like $3 trillion or something like that?
No clue.
I mean, I don't know what it was in 1803, but still, I'm sure it was pennies of whatever the GDP was.
Well, we were missing all that space, so couldn't have been much.
In 1803, the estimated GDP of the United States was around 250 million. So that means the Louisiana Purchase was about 6% of the total US GDP. What is the GDP today? Thanks, ChatGPT. As of 2024, oh wow, I was way fucking off. The US GDP is approximately $29 trillion. So much for my 6 million. I was off by a factor of five.
Worst part is you said three.
Yeah. So, yeah, LOL. Thanks, France. Fucking nerds. Um,
Do you have
yeah.
anything you wanted to get to?
Um, Virginia McCaskey died.
Loser lap.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to take a loser lap because I think you had her last year. You had her in the 2024 death pool, I believe.
Damn. I had a feeling I had her
Someone had her. Yeah, you did. I can confirm you had her
in 2024.
in 2024. Yeah. So she missed it by like fucking 37 days.
What an asshole.
Yeah. Yep. So owner of the Chicago Bears. So
She was super fucking old.
she was also super fucking racist. According to
The team
Nikos,
drafted a black quarterback and she just couldn't stand it.
yeah, well, I mean, according to Nikos, she would not allow the team to interview Pat Mahomes during that draft cycle because she didn't like him, allegedly because he was black, which is funny because isn't Mahomes only half black?
I was gonna say because if we're talking about racist people based on appearance, he doesn't look that dark.
Yeah. Yep.
Because again, that's how racist people look. Like, yes,
Yep.
he is black. His father is for sure black.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way racist people, because it's all about looks.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's dead. Swing and a miss there. Loser lap.
Fucking bitch.
Um, yeah, and I mean, the only other thing I was going to talk about was Market Basket, which we already touched on this morning, being a fucking madhouse.
Yeah.
Um,
What did you expect?
no, I mean, I knew it was going to be crazy, but I didn't think I was going to have to park in the back of the parking lot.
That's on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it
Like
is.
it's a Saturday. The storm's coming. Super Bowl's here.
I mean, I was there at 8 a.m. It was
Yeah, but
like
8 a.m. is not early.
8:07.
That's not early though.
Yeah,
7 a.m. is
on a
when they open.
typical Saturday at 8 o'clock, it's not that busy.
Correct.
It gets busy when I leave, like right around quarter of nine, 9 o'clock.
Yes. No, but this place would have been busy if it was a regular Saturday. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, if it was just Super Bowl Saturday, it would have been
right.
busy. If
Yeah,
it was just the storm coming, it
right.
would have been busy.
Yeah, you put those two together, and like I said, I'm parking literally almost in the last spot in the parking lot.
I parked in the back too, and it's just you grab a card on the way in because you know
Oh yeah.
guaranteed there will not be
Yep.
one, so you get
Yep.
one on the way in.
Yeah, when I walked in the door, because I grabbed the cart from outside, I walked in the door. I think there was like six of them. There was
Yeah, there were
six of
none.
them left in the front.
Yeah, there were none when I went in. Um, and then yeah, like I said to you, it's just like you're like a border collie in an agility contest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just dodge the idiots. You leave your cart somewhere, dodge the idiots, and fucking get back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did because I forgot I needed time, right? So I left the produce section and got into like the meat section and I turned around and looked and go, that's fucking busy. So I took my cart, tucked it in the corner, right? Because I'm not an asshole. And I put it, to a spot where it wasn't in anyone's way. And then I just Olympic speed walked over, grabbed the time from the produce section, and then got back to my car and was like, all right, we're good. And I'm on my way. So unlike those fucking morons that were standing in the middle of the aisle being like, strawberry preserves or raspberry preserves? Do you want
That's what you
strawberry
just let
preserves? What
you
about
just
strawberry jam?
you just let the idiots be.
These two old ladies are literally just like going back and forth. Like I said, I think I heard the word strawberry preserve like four times in the amount of time it takes me to walk down an aisle, which
I would
isn't
say,
very long. It's about
then you
15
may have been in that
seconds.
aisle too long. You need a better route.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like
The
it's
thing too,
market
like,
basket. Like again, what did you like? Again,
I don't
I
know what
because
you
I
expected.
always talk about people that go in and complain about market basket. It's like, well, then don't fucking go, right? Like if you don't like it that much, then just don't fucking go. And my thing is like I knew it was going to be busy, right? I didn't think it was going to be that busy. And I just like to bitch and moan about people being morons, right? And it's like, again, I'm not sitting there like furious, like fucking steam coming out of my ears, my blood pressure going up to. I knew it was going to be busy. I just think it's funny to like talk shit about dumb people, basically. I think
Yeah,
they're,
but it so this is my thing. Like with this, it's hard because it's like everyone in the supermarket's fucking stupid anyway. So like someone would have to do something like extraordinarily stupid because people do this
yeah,
shit. They do this shit anyway.
right,
It's just busy. Like
right,
you got like again like there are days where I'm a fucking border collie in the agility contest just like normally because
right.
people like whatever. Um, you just fucking just act like you have a fucking brain and move on. Like, would today be a great day to go buy eggs?
There actually were no eggs. There's like,
So I didn't
there was
even go
a
down the
few,
aisle. I
but
didn't even go down the aisle because I
yeah,
knew not only are eggs in a shortage or whatever the fuck they're in right now,
yeah,
it's also before a storm. It's a
right,
Saturday. I go, I'm not even going to fucking bother.
yeah. I
And
saw
as I
one
was and as
lady.
I was walking by to leave, I
Yep.
looked down there, no X.
Yeah.
And
Did
that's
they
with
have
a
the
limit
sign up,
too.
the limit? Yeah. There was some lady that walked over and took a picture of it, and I was like, "Oh, are you gonna post that on Instagram and be like, oh, in Trump's America, we can't buy eggs." Like, you dumb bitch. Like, fuck off. Like, why would you go up and take a picture
They're
of
Tom
that sign?
Smokowski. Jump to
Yeah.
conclusions.
But I mean, why
I
else
have
would
no
you go take
fucking
a
idea.
picture
What
of
we
that
know
sign?
what you don't know what she's posting that for. And what? Why is that to be
I
politically
I
charged?
profiled her. She was a middle-aged white woman. She was a Karen.
Yeah, so Trump bad now. You're part
Yeah.
of the problem.
Which actually isn't even true because Joe Biden is the one that ordered the slaughtering of like a fuck ton of chickens in like November because there was the potential they were exposed to H5N1, the new bird flu. So this is
You're part of the
just
problem.
this is just normal economics, right? Like you killed a bunch of chickens in November, therefore in January now there's an egg shortage. Like it seems pretty straightforward to me.
I don't know, dude. Someone's got a cooler outside their house on my drive to work. Just go get eggs there. I
Yeah, yeah.
think it's like 5.99 a dozen though.
Yeah, but they're local eggs. Or
Yeah,
you could just buy chickens.
that doesn't help its cause.
Yeah, maybe I'll just buy my own chickens.
That's fucking sounds terrible.
Put a coop in the backyard. Yeah, that sounds fucking miserable.
Sounds awful.
Also, like we live in the woods. Like I guess our neighbors used to have chickens. Amy was telling me, like back in the day, they all
And they've
got
gotten
killed.
eaten.
They all got killed by coyotes and hawks. They had ducks too.
So
I think they
Michaela
had
works
six
with
or
the dude.
seven chickens and like maybe four ducks. All of them were murdered by coyotes, hawks, whatever.
Michaela works with a dude who has ducks, and a hawk fucking came down and killed one of his ducks.
Yeah,
Fucking asshole.
yeah. So no duck eggs. Uh, all right. Well, you want to wrap this up?
We can wrap this up. Did I pull up my fucking sheet? No, obviously not. I think we can get it open though. Yes. Okay. So this morning, capped off a I don't know, a long-ish process. What was it? A couple Wednesdays ago we got snow.
uh, yeah, sure.
Think so.
I think so.
Maybe it wasn't a snow day. I don't really remember. Yeah, we got some surprise snow one day, and wasn't like the big snow. So Michaela opens her trunk to go get the snow brush, and it was one of the days that I didn't have to be in, so I was sleeping. So she comes back up. It's like 6, whatever. She goes, "I need your help." I'm like, what the fuck? She goes, "My trunk won't close." I go, "Oh fuck." I go, "All right." So I come down, whatever. We move some shit out of the way. So she pulls her car in the garage, and the trunk is like 60% up. More
Okay.
than half, but not all the way up.
Yeah.
Won't close. And her car drives pretty nicely. It's small for an SUV. Like my golf clubs don't fit width-wise in it, so I don't like that. But I hate her car because everything is so fucking electronically and it's so fucking smart and it's so this, that, the other thing that things don't work. So it's like power lift gate, like anything
Yeah.
won't let it shut.
Yeah.
Anything. She's got her sunroof has broke twice, won't shut. She's got the key fobs.
Yep.
They die and they need to be charged. They say you can charge them in the glove compartment. They don't charge.
Yeah.
You could still start the car, but they don't charge.
Right.
So then, like the dealership, I don't know what the fuck they do, but they like fix them. So it's like you have the car and like normal things don't fucking work
Yeah.
because it has to be so smart, it has to be so electronic, and has to be so fucking whatever. Again, the car drives good. It's just I fucking can't stand it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
it's one of those, the more electronic components that you have versus like old school mechanical, the more things that can go wrong.
in less able to fix, manually override, however you want to fucking consider it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm home. Um, think it was the Wednesday. It must have been the Wednesday before we went away because I ended up going to the grocery store, buying some stuff, and coming back. And while I was there, I was like, "Do you want me to try anything on this stupid car before I go to work?" And she sent me something, and it's like there should be a way to manually override, like there should be like a lever or a button or like whatever. And it's like, oh, usually it's near the license plate. And I'm like, I'm looking fucking everywhere. There, I
Yeah,
don't see a button. I don't see a lever. I don't see anything. I
right.
see nothing. So I grab like her car manual, whatever, and it tells me how to change the open height
Okay.
of the lift gate, but it doesn't tell me how to shut it if I need to shut it. So I'm Googling, I'm looking up videos. I am finding absolutely and utterly nothing. Nothing on this. And the only thing people will talk about is adjusting the height. And I'm like, the thing is stuck fucking open. How the
Right.
fuck do I shut it?
Yeah, I don't need to adjust the height. I need it to just close.
So I spent all this time like trying to research how to look it up, whatever, do it the right way, which is something I do and, probably to a fault.
Did you try
Uh,
switching it to Wumbo?
I didn't try switching it to Wumbo because I just went out there and fucking Wumboed it shut. So I called her and I was like, car's good. She goes, how many noises did it make on the way down? I go, just one big one. And I'm like, but it's shut.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, I go, do you want me to like make sure the car fucking is like good, whatever? So go up, get her spare key fob. What do you think it is?
Dead.
Yep, sure is. So throw it in the glove compartment, start the car, back it out of the garage. I go, ooh, it's not likely that this is gonna happen. But if that thing pops open for some reason, which it shouldn't, but if it does pop open and I leave the car out in the fucking driveway, stupid.
Yeah.
Pull it back in, go to lock the door, doors won't lock. And I'm like, I'm ready to fucking just scream. I go, this car is so fucking smart, but he can't even fucking function.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in so whatever, I mean, it's in the garage, so it's like it doesn't really need to be locked. It's just like again, I'm annoyed. Not
Right.
even my car, but I'm annoyed. So we dropped that thing off this morning, and I'm just like, it seems like the smarter we're getting, the dumber we're fucking getting.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it's like I ran into this specific, and it just so happened I wrote this in the sheet like before because like I've noticed these smart things just like aren't fucking smart because like that's the thing is like before if you had like a window that broke and it was a fucking cranky,
Yeah.
there was always a way to get that fucking thing back up.
Right.
Now it's like you can't do anything. And I've heard mechanics and people and you mentioned even like locksmiths, like everything's like
Yeah.
electronics. And it's just like even yesterday, like so we're switching our software. I know I went on my rant, so we're switching, and I was getting uh new people in the system, and they're like, "Well, do a migration." And I'm like, "Well, the migration's a problem because the migration wants me to do all of the work first, and then send like a link to have people complete their profile and add payment, whatever." But I'm like, I'm in the profile and it says I can just manually do it. I go, so this allows me to do it on my time. I can do it like piece by piece. Like it's
Right.
easier for me to do it manually because the migration's convenient if I was ready to do it all at once and I wasn't. So I'm like, I can do it piece by piece. So I'll just do it manually. And it took me like 90 fucking minutes to figure out why the link wouldn't send to each individual person to update their profile. I'm like, I'm clicking the link and it's not fucking sending. I go, it's not sending to me. It's not sending to my test account. It's not sending to a client. What the fuck is wrong with this? And then it's like, oh, well, did you set the automatic email? I go, it's not an automatic email. I go, I don't want an automatic email. I go, I want to do it manually. I want to do
Right.
it when I'm ready. They're like, well, did you go to the migration assistant? I go, I don't need the migration assistant. I've already uploaded everybody. I go, I wasn't ready to do it all in one fucking swoop. I want to do it manually one by one.
Right.
Like, oh,
Right.
I was just trying to make it easier for you. I go, I don't want you to make it easier for me.
I
I
want you
just
to
want you
do
to
it how
tell
I
me why
want to
this
do it.
fucking link doesn't fucking send the fucking email. And of course, it's a fucking chat. So I'm like, the link doesn't fucking send the email. What the fuck is the problem? I go, I'm either missing something or like something is fucked here. And I was about to tell the fucking sales rep, cancel my fucking membership. Your shit sucks. And then just like out of nowhere, I was in the chat. I had emailed the guy. I had been trying stuff on my end. And then it just fucking worked. And I'm like, I have no idea how. I have no idea why. I have no fucking clue what happened, but I can send all the links that I want now.
Magic.
And I'm like, they either did something on their back end
Yeah.
to like that was disabled or enabled or fucking who knows. Like my internet was fucked. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why the fuck could I not just click a link to do something and have it do that thing? Because I said that because the woman, because like the woman in the chat, which is a real, that chat was a real person because like the AI didn't have what I needed. And I'm like, I'm asking you why the link won't fucking send the email. I didn't ask you about the migration and I didn't ask you about automatic emails.
Right.
Why doesn't that fucking link do what it's supposed to do?
Right.
Why doesn't the fucking car door shut? Why doesn't the fucking lock button work? Like, the smarter we get, the fucking dumber we are.
Yeah, I mean for sure, especially like with cars. Like I mean, I know a few people that are mechanics and they effectively say with the new cars, like you pull it in and you plug it in. Like you
Yeah, you
plug
just
it,
need a
you
scientist
you
now.
just plug a computer or a tab. A lot of them are just tablets. Like you
Let's,
plug the tablet into the car and then you diagnose the issues. Like there's no more like, oh, let me slide under here and figure out what's going on. It's like, no,
yeah.
no, no. The computer tells you what's wrong and then you just go fix
Well,
that.
that was another thing. Like, I'm getting new tires on my car. So I called the guys and they were like, oh, yeah, just stop by. We have to test the sensors and make sure they're good. I go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Again. Like, like, hopefully I don't need to buy a car until fucking who the hell knows when. But the next car, power liftgate? No.
Yeah.
Sunroof? No. Oh, we have this key? No.
I would
I want
love
I want
someday.
the dumbest car that you can fucking possibly assemble. I
Yeah.
want the dumbest one.
If I, one of the things, like if I ever hit the lottery, like I would go and buy like a 2002 F-150, right? That's got like all I need, just give me heated seats and like that's it. Like give me a tape
No,
deck, right?
can't even
Like
risk it.
I want the tape deck. I want everything, which actually is funny enough. I don't know if Derek listens to the show, but shout out to Derek if he does. Um, he bought an old truck that he's been like fixing up here and there. I don't know what year it could be like a 87, right? But
If
it's
it's
a
an
it's an
'87 Chevy Clydesdale, that thing's effectively a fucking
it's
army
an
tank.
it's an old pickup and he's been working on it to like fix it up and get it good and up and running and whatever. And it's like that is like a dream. Like just to have an old shitbox truck, right? That you just drive around. No one can track you, right? Because that's the other thing. Funny enough, I got a phone call from what's now Tosca, um, Toyota. It used to be Expressway where I got my
It's
truck from,
old.
and I got a call on like yeah, I think it was yesterday, and they were like, "Hey, this is so and so from Tosca Toyota. I'm just calling about your lease because we're showing you're pretty far over your mileage. So is there any way you could like bring that in and we can work with you to like get a new truck?" And I go, I'm sorry, but I did that like 6 months ago. Like I own this truck now. My lease expired in September, and I bought the truck out. So I don't have a lease anymore. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like for some reason, it's still showing in our system as an open lease. Like no worries. Like have a good day." And I was like, "All right, cool. See you later." And then like Amy was sitting there. She was like, "What happened?" And I told her, and they were like, "How do they know?" like your mileage or whatever. And I go, well, they know everything about my truck because I have the Toyota app and on it, like I can open up like my trip log. Like a GPS tracks everything that I do. Like it'll be like, oh, on this day at this time, you drove to Boston Airport. And then you drove back from Logan to North Attleboro. Like it shows me the routes that I go. So it tracks me. Like it knows exactly where I am. And I click the option of do not share this information, right? But that doesn't mean that they're not, right? It doesn't mean that, you know, it's not accessible if someone really wanted to access it, right? So yeah, I mean, someday I would love to just get, like I said, like an old like 2002 F-150. Give me the tape deck, right? I don't even need a CD player. Um, so yeah, yeah, this the new technology is fucking crazy, and
What?
it's not all that great.
That's why I also like uh, I don't use a Toyota app. I don't use my Plymouth Rock has an app like Safe Drive app. I don't use that.
Yeah,
I don't use anything. I
yeah,
use nothing. Like I don't necessarily want to go back to like an old car. But yeah, I mean
yeah.
like I don't
69 Cutlass.
yeah, I'm not interested in going back that far because I'm not an actual man, so I can't fix this shit. But like I love that my car does not have a power lift gate.
Yeah, you're
You just
getting an
shut the
88
trunk.
Oldsmobile. That's a fucking boat. The thing was made out of like triple wrought iron
Obviously.
steel. Like you can drive that thing through a fucking building and it just have a little bit of a scratch in the paint. My grandfather had one of those, an 88 Oldsmobile. I remember that thing. That thing was huge and it was literally like made out of tungsten. Like you were not you,
Remember did you ever get in like a 93 whatever the Mercury was?
yeah,
My
yeah.
grandfather had one. You could fit three people comfortably
Yeah.
across the front seat.
Oh
It was a
yeah.
bench seat.
Yeah, the bench seat in the front. Yep. Yep.
Comfortably
Yeah.
three people.
Montego, Mercury Montego. Is that what it
I don't
was?
know if it was a Montego, but
Yeah. Which
whatever
actually
that car
this is a
was.
great segue into my final thought, because it's all about technology. And it's funny because last week or whenever the hell I was in Philly last, I was just shooting the shit with the GC before I left. And he was like going on and on about some like bullshit. So he's an older guy. He worked for a different company for years, and then they kind of went out of business. He kind of bounced around to a couple places, and now he's at this new company. He's been there for like 3 or 4 years. So this guy is probably in his mid to late 50s. Um, been around for a really long time in the Philly construction area. And he was saying all of the other project managers at this company are all young. He goes, they're all under 40. And he goes, I'm the old guy. He goes, I don't know how old he is, but he's got a son that's in his early 20s. So I'm assuming he's probably mid to late 50s. He looks it too, which I guess when you're a GC, it doesn't really matter. But you could be 35 and look like you're 60, depending on how rough it's been ridden. But um, so he's like bitching about this shit because he goes, oh, the shop is switching over to Slack. He's like, what the fuck is this Slack? And I go, oh, well, it's kind of like a Microsoft Teams. And he goes, why the fuck don't we just use Teams? I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, apparently your boss wants to switch to Slack. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. And he's got the thick Philly accent. And he goes, they want me to use this Slack to talk to everybody. He goes, if I need someone, I just pick up the phone and fucking call them. He goes, now they want me to use this Slack. And he goes, why? So they can track everything that I do? He goes, what do they want? They want a paper trail of everything? And he goes, no, if I need to talk to my superintendent, he goes, I pick up the phone and I call him and I tell him what I need to tell him. He's like, if it's a quick thing, he goes, I'll just text him and be like, hey, by the way, like, don't forget about this. And he's like, now I got to use fucking Slack. He goes, I don't know how to use this. He never called it Slack though. He kept calling it something else. Slave. He kept calling it slave. He was like, I don't know what this fucking slave is. And his son was like, Dad, it's Slack. And he goes, oh yeah, that's right, it's Slack. And he goes,
Yeah,
this,
that's first. Yeah.
yeah. But it's like he was so fired up about it. And he was like, this is so fucking stupid. He goes, I got to download this app on my phone and I got to only talk to people with Slack. He goes, why can't I just call them? He goes, I don't understand. He goes, why do we have to change this? And he's like, all these young guys in the shop, all the other PMs, because he's the senior PM in the shop. And then there might be some other ones, but he was like, all these other PMs, they're all like, oh, they're all fired up about it. They're like, oh, this is going to be great. And he goes, my boss is like, oh, it's going to be great for business. It's going to help streamline this and everything's going to be a smoother process. And he goes, it sounds like he got sold on a load of fucking bullshit to me. He goes, it sounds like he had a really good sales rep that fucking sold him on this. And he goes, none of this makes any sense. It was just, it went on for like almost a half hour. He was bitching about Slack. But I mean, at the same time, like it rolls in with that technology thing, right? He has a point, right? Like he's been in construction for 30 years, probably at least, right? Probably almost my entire life. This dude has been working construction. And maybe even 40 years, right? Close to 40 years, depending on how old he is. You're gonna make him like do things through an app now?
Well, so let's just not even let's just disregard the because if like let's just pretend it was like like it was going to do everything they said. It's going to streamline things. It's going to make things. Let's just pretend it's going to do that,
Yeah,
which I doubt. But Slack or Discord or whatever, there's a lot going on in there usually,
yeah,
which means not everybody checks every fucking line of everything that comes in. Things will get missed.
yeah.
So especially now, let's look at it the other way. Like he put something in Slack, like the younger people will probably see it and probably react to it, whatever. But like this dude sounds like if he is now again, I mean he's not fucking sitting there banging the nails, I assume, but like
No.
if he's working, he's probably not checking each and every beep, beep, beep.
Yeah,
But if you call him, he'll answer.
right. Yeah, every time I need something from him, I just call him. I'm like, hey,
I'm
hey, what's
sure
up,
he answers
Steve?
probably
Like I
most of the time. And if he doesn't
most of the
answer, he probably calls
time,
you right back.
yep, exactly. Or
But
he'll
if you put
text me and
this,
be like,
but if
hey,
you,
I'm on a call. I'll call you right back.
but if it's like, you ask these guys to do this fucking Slack shit, they're not going to be paying attention to it. There's too many messages. It's the same thing with, um, Chris and I were talking. It's like we added on one of our forms like preferred contact method, adding text because Chris has like had some decent success like with texting people, whatever.
Especially with as people get younger, like as parents get
Yeah,
younger, right? Like, well,
and
not younger, but like the generation, right? So like parents now are our age. Like people our age and younger, like for whatever reason, they don't like to use the phone. Like they're just text everything, which is the
yeah,
other thing the GC was going on about. He goes, it's fucking people in their texts. He goes, everyone just texts. He's like, why can't you just pick up the phone and call me? Like he goes, I text someone if it's something like I don't need to talk to you about. It's like if I just need like a quick thing, he goes, I'll send you a text. But other than that, like, why can't you just call? And I go, I know, I don't get it. I was just letting him just fucking rant.
yeah. And again, like my only problem with, but I don't work like with like the way you guys, because it's like if I'm calling someone that is on the job that I also work, then I expect them to answer the phone.
Right.
I'm calling people when I work, which is also probably when they work, which means they may not answer me about
True.
not work.
True.
So then it's like by the time that they're ready to call me back, I'm working.
Right.
And then we never fucking get in touch. So it's like I like sending an email that way. It's like if I need to get on the phone, I can coordinate that. And then also I do like having a paper trail for most of this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, because the thing is someone tells me it's like, oh yeah, yeah, no, it's like, yeah, Thursday at 5. Like, yeah, it's a great time for a child, no problem. I forget,
Right.
don't put them in. And then someone walks in, I go, oh shit, I forgot.
Yeah.
Now it's a me problem, and that's fine. But the same thing with text. I told Chris, I go, dude, if you want to do this, that's fine. But I go, you got to text these people. I go, I do not check my fucking text messages. I go, there's too many. None of them are like important.
Right.
And when I'm like, they're just a big, big distraction and I don't even have any friends. That's the other thing. I get all these texts and it's like, I don't even know that many people. So what the fuck are all these like how the fuck do I get too many?
Yeah.
It's like mathematically impossible. And then it's like I've gotten worse and I've gotten worse because like when I'm not paying attention, I am not paying attention. And the worst habit I have is every time something comes in, I just swipe it away.
Yeah.
So then not only do it's like marked as red, so it like there's no more alert anymore, and I didn't look at it.
Right. Right.
So I'm just like I can't like, and then if you want me to use like a fucking Discord or a whatever, like the new software, they're like, oh yeah, man, we can get you a branded app and like there's a chat in there. I go, that sounds terrible. He goes, oh, it's a great way to like communicate this, that, the other thing. I go, dude,
Yeah.
I don't even check my own damn phone,
Right. Right.
let alone that. Check my
Yeah.
emails; those come in. I handle Google review received. Thanks
Yeah.
for the kind words, Tom. Send that off. Get a text from Tom. Don't answer him for fucking 6 hours the next day. Like,
Yeah.
and then the other piece is with it, this is kind of like subconscious. There are times where I do look, and there are times where it in subconsciously I know that has to be answered. So I fire it off quick and send it off. And then someone shows up and they're like, I'm like, oh shit, I know you were coming. They're like, you told me it was cool. I'm like, go back, scroll through those messages I didn't answer. Go, oh yeah, I did tell you it was all right. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm here. Cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's also what happens when you're fucking stupid.
A little bit of, yeah, a little bit of column A, a little column B.
I was gonna say when you have various grades of autism and ADD and anger and anxiety and
Yeah. Load it up.
low grade schizophrenia. You-
Uh, well, I think that's going to do it. On that note, thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy as well. Leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Check out the show notes below. Support the sponsors. Support us. And until next time, good night, everybody.